Well, good day to you. Thank you for joining me. My name is Tiffany Rashawn. I am the head Imaginearian of Imagiread. Imagiread is a multidimensional family literacy platform that creates and celebrates diverse reading experiences. We do that by citing socially responsible literature and creating culturally authentic and appropriate literacy development programs for children and adults alike. Our premier YouTube excursion is Imagireading Today, and that's where you are. Welcome. And so today I am out and about as usual, right? There's a project that I work on that's very near and dear to my heart that actually has a lot of the footing for Imagiread. It gives me insight into how the family works and what the family really needs when it comes to family literacy programming. So I'm here very early, very, very early. And just taking it all in. It's at one of the, and not that Houston doesn't have an array of beautiful hotels and conference centers, but this one just feels like home because we're here so often for this project. And I thought, I can record today's episode. So thank you for tuning in. You know, this episode is really, really special. I know I say this a lot. I know I do because I really, 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 really love books. But these books make me so happy. I was just having a conversation with my youngest son the other day about attaining and acquiring. And the one thing that I'd like for him and his brothers to have, if something should ever happen to me, the one thing is wisdom. When I'm in the classroom, and I talk extensively about this in every workshop, in every classroom environment, I talk extensively about it. Our children are inundated with too much information, not enough wisdom. And so today's episode, we're going to talk a little bit about the impact of stories that have living wisdom in them. And I am going to feature one of my absolute, here again, favorite publishing houses, Wisdom Tales Press. Oh, how I love Wisdom Tales Press. Oh, I love them. There's a book that I actually wanted to feature as a part of today's episode, but you know what I did? I gave it to someone. I gave it away. And that's really hard for me to give someone a book that I love. But this individual, I know, and I still feel very strongly about, is benefiting from the book this day. It's Everyone Prays, and I just featured it because it was National Day of Prayer, and prayer tolerance and respect for prayer is something that we have to get to. There's so many different narratives in the media about this religion and that religion, and this cult and that cult. Remember, if we're playing on words, we're talking about a culture. And religion has set the precedence for a lot of our cultural compacts. So, that being said, I'm going to do just a few, not a whole lot, just a few. I did bring almost 10. I'm only going to feature like my absolute favorite 6. So, bear with me. If I had to choose, and this is in line with it being Asian Heritage Month, if I had to choose, outside of Everyone Prays, it would be this read. The Pandas and Their Chopsticks. Now, let me say this. I'm sorry, because I'm getting ahead of myself. That's what happens when I'm excited. Wisdom Tales Press is an imprint of world wisdom. And trying to come up with something to say, you know, when you're a writer and you're at a loss for words, it's a big deal. I couldn't. So I'm going to read this from the website just to help you understand how profound this publishing house is, how intentional they are. So, according to World Wisdom's mission statement, perennial philosophy is dedicated to the exposition of the timeless truth underlying the diverse religions that finds its expression in the revealed scriptures, as well as the writings of the great sages and artistic creation of traditional worlds. Wisdom Tales has the mission of sharing the wisdom, beauty, and values of traditional cultures and people from all around the world with young readers and their families. You see why I love them? All right. Now we're back to my absolute favorite. So, outside of Everyone Prays, The Pandas and Their Chopsticks is going to be next. And this is written and illustrated by Demi. She's phenomenal. And so it's hard for me to really do what I normally do with this one, so I'm going to try. One day, there was a very curious panda. As he was playing outside, he heard angry sounds. They came from a big house. So he looked inside the window. There he saw a large group of pandas. They were all seated around a huge table. They were growling and snapping at each other. On the table, there were many dishes of bamboo shoots, the panda's favorite food. Beside each panda was a pair of chopsticks. But the chopsticks were 3 feet long. The pandas were getting madder and hungrier every minute. The curious panda saw why. Not one of them could figure out how to eat their 3-foot-long chopsticks. With their 3-foot-long chopsticks. The curious panda continued playing outside. All of a sudden, he heard happy sounds coming from a big house. So he looked inside the window. There he saw another large group of pandas. But these pandas were laughing and smiling. They, too, were seated around a huge table. And this table also had many dishes of bamboo shoots on it. Each panda also had chopsticks that were 3 feet long. But these pandas were getting happier and fuller every minute. The curious panda smiled when he saw why. They were all feeding one another across the table with their 3-foot-long chopsticks. The value of this story, be generous. It brings happiness to everyone. It sets the precedence. I can't tell you enough. I think I'm going to do 2 more. This one is my absolute second favorite, When the Animals Saved Earth. So timely. Retold by Alexis York Lombard and illustrated by Demi. A gem of an island glimmered in the bright blue sea. Here the winged and webbed, hoofed and horned, mighty and meek, all lived in peace. They did so under the quiet watch of King Bursaf. He was a spirit king made of fire and air. The creatures of Emerald Isle knew nothing of humans, for none had come to their shores. But one morning, after a terrible storm, the winds of fate blew an ark full of people their way. That's it. When the Animals Saved the Earth. I have several other favorites, but I'm not going to do that to you guys. Pine and the Winter Sparrow, also written by Alexis York Lombard. Feathers for Peacock. I just read this to a little girl week before last. It was incredible. She totally enjoyed it. She came over to my table and was like, I hate to read. And I read her that story, and she changed her mind. So good. The Hunter's Promise. If I don't have any words, The Green Musician, Envy, Whispers of the Wolf. I don't have any words. And this is the latest and greatest. Princess Sophie and the Six Swans. This is the latest and the greatest. I'm going to do something special for this one. So as usual, I'll include the links And all of the ways to get in touch with Wisdom Tales, please follow them. They're on Facebook only. Gotta stay tuned. They have some amazing things coming up. As usual, so do we. We are celebrating reads for teens and tweens this month. And of course, it's Asian Heritage Month, so keep rocking out with the books. As usual, thank you for joining me. Do have an imaginative day.